3/4 of a eighth hole, so even the queen can come out through them.
Mm-hmm.
They make things to trap queens in. You know, that used to be a thing earlier in life, like when I was younger, back in the 70s, 80s, they had those. And that was to keep the queens in, keep them from swarming. But it never worked well. The hives would end up killing the queen and stuff. They will kill a queen if the queen isn't performing.
Mm.
So they'll actually kill the queen themselves and make a new queen if the queen isn't up to par. Like if you were to wound that queen somehow and say that we somehow jabbed her with a knife or something and she wasn't making eggs or something, they'd actually kill her and start making a new one. I don't know, any other questions? We gotta get some more balance for you.
Oh wow, I don't know why I didn't see when we drove up. I didn't even see these over here.
You were too afraid of getting stuck.
I was.
Are we checking you, Terry, or what? Yeah. Whatever you want. Whatever Marie wants to do. I don't know what's nice to you.
Oh, whatever you guys, if you guys are out here to check them, I mean, we can check them. If you don't need to check them, it's really up to you guys.
Check that one for sure. The bigger one.
Okay.
This is caught a swarm in this hive. Put it in and we haven't been through it. So I don't know what it looks like inside at all.
You caught a swarm, so you went somewhere and got a swarm.
Yep.
Okay. Do you know if there's a queen in there yet?
Nope.
No.
Nothing.
No, you don't know, or no, there's no queen?
No, we don't know.
Okay,
Don't know
got
nothing
you.
about the hive. Usually you can go through these, but there's barely any bees in it. This is actually a honey super. When they get filled, they could weigh 75, 80 pounds.
Oh.
It doesn't look like there's many bees in there, but
When you catch a swarm, do they generally stick around in your hive, or will you lose some, or?
usually if you were to catch a swarm and stick the queen in the hive, it looks like a million-man march, because once the queen's inside, they'll actually all march in that hive once you have it in. It's that's a neat thing to see, but I don't know how you would see it. That mostly honey.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm looking for eggs in the bottom of the cells. Because if they have eggs in there, they most likely have the queen is in there. Yeah, and they do right. I don't know if you can see the white, the bottom of them frames. They've already fed them the royal jelly. That's going to help them grow into a bee.
And so all bees get royal jelly.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just that the queen bee gets a lot of royal
Right.
jelly.
Yeah. You'd see a queen cell like this, and the whole bottom of it would be filled. This is something you don't see very often, but they waxed in stuff underneath it. They like capped the cell full of wax because it's not the right size. So eventually you'll have to replace the queen, replace it.
Right there, Terry.
Yep. See, she's a lot darker than the other one, striped. She's pretty big too.
Yeah.
It's actually a pretty queen.
Well, I'm glad that we found her.
Normally when you pull a hive apart, especially early in the spring, you want to put the frames back in the order that you pulled them out. The queen will know where they are. Once you get into,
Yeah, this one is in here.
you can manipulate them around to, if you need to. Sometimes they'll put pollen and honey right in the middle.
Get daddy long legs off there.
Spiders are a big thing. They don't really kill a lot of bees, but they hang around the hives a lot. Anthills tend to be a thing too.
Boy, they're busy down below.
Are they?
Yeah, here.
Oh yeah. Ended up being a little more windier than I thought today.
Do we want to not
Oh,
take that off because we found her? Or what?
yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Being a new hive and they're still getting settled, we're just gonna come on my side.
Okay, your side.
We found the queen. She's in there. There's brood. There's some honey. We're good to go. Once they get built up a little more, we'll actually tear every frame out and check it. See, that doesn't normally happen when once the hive is in there and set, they'll glue those hives together without any. They're hard to break apart. The stuff they make that's like a glue is from shumac trees, pine pitch. It's horrible. It sticks to everything. Check this one. The end one. This is my favorite hive in the middle of summer because it's underneath the tree.
Do bees enjoy the shade?
Well,
Or do you enjoy the shade?
the bees actually need, 92 degrees outside. They keep a high humidity and they keep, I think it's around 90 degrees. They try to keep the average temperature. So it's a lot easier in the summertime for them to make the brood, the baby bees. I mean, beekeeping is one of those things, once you get a hive and you go into it, the more you go into it, the more you'll learn. I always say to get two, which I think is true. You get two hives, you can compare them and see if one's stronger or weaker, which is nice.
So if you or I find the queen, Terry, we're not gonna say anything, but we're gonna see if Maria can spot it.
Okay.
Oh boy, where's Waldo? I was really never good at that, but
That's what we'll call our queens, Waldos. If you get a really cold day, like when they're not flying and get into a hive, that's when they'll be more aggressive towards you. All the worker bees that are out collecting honey, when they come back, they turn into guard bees. So if you were to attack a hive at night or do something, that's the worst time. Yeah, you never want to open bees at night. Some people have. It's just not a good thing. There's a lot more bees in a hive at night than there is during the day.
See how these are all gorging themselves because he smoked them out, and they're just diving right in there.
It's cool.
bumblebee butts are kind of cute. They're not bumblebees, honeybees. What kind did you say they were again?
These are carnolians.
Carnolians.
Yep, usually beginners start out with Italians. They're a lot more gentle. But these are usually a little bit hardier for the winters we have. One of the worst things I hate is when I forget one of them. That's why I leave a couple in the yards now. As far as the color is, some people paint them all the same color. Some people don't. Doesn't really matter to them. Should never paint the inside of a hive. They'll actually coat it with wax eventually. If you put a brand new wood hive on here and they'll coat it. This is one that has tape on it from moving it. It never took off. A lot of times if the hives are having problems in one yard, Sometimes you can just move them to another yard and they'll calm down if you have that option, I guess. Not much going on up there, huh?
No, but they have to be. You have to take them how many miles away?
Yeah, they say at least a mile away. You can move them a foot or a mile. And this is leftover honey from last year. See how it's kind of whitish and crystallized. Now if you come back next week, this spot I opened up, they'll have that all cleaned out. So you can almost make them think they got more honey on them than
This came from over here.
Yep. You got to be careful pushing them. You don't want to smush the bees on the inside of the wall. Bees have a 3/8 inch gap. All these hives are set at 3/8 of an inch. It's been over 100 years they figured that out. This Landsworth design has been around for a long time. They do make A-frame hives that are a little bit easier to manipulate, take apart. How you holding up?
Okay.
You didn't get stung yet, I hope.
No.
Have you noticed more bees flying around you?
Yes.
You know why?
Why?
Because you're standing in front of the hive.
Oh, so
And
I
they're
should.
just coming around. Oh, it doesn't. They'll come
Okay.
around you. This is like a perfect day for bees in a way. It's not too hot, not too cold. The hive's a lot smaller than normal. I shouldn't say normal, but
Look at fat drones. Holy cow.
see how the frame's mostly brood?
Yeah.
That's a good sign of a good queen. Sometimes when there's honey, like they're not filled in there and there's something else in them, that means that the cells there might not be up to her standard. Could also mean I wasn't a good beekeeper and didn't get a hive body on fast enough. See when did you see? She's on the other side.
Of me?
Flip that frame around. Yep.
You saw it that quick? I guess your eye is trained for it. Is she still there?
Tip her down once. This way towards me.
Oh, yep.
See her? You're supposed to let her. Oh yeah, I see her now.
I see her.
See how
She
she's
like buries herself.
Yep.
she's a smart queen.
Wow.
The hard part is when you put her back in, you got to make sure she's
Yep.
like not.
Not on the edge.
Yeah, because especially a queen like that that has a good brood pattern, you want to keep her away from. As you can see, not cooperating very yet. She's hiding now down in there. Now the queens, see how she's kind of like, almost killed. See that? There she goes. You can put her back if you want. The back of them, some of them are lighter, some are darker. See, sometimes when you crack them, when they make that sound, that gets them a little